going on, guys? Aquan here, back with another video, and here today to give you all my review of this new Conway project, Won't He Do It? This is a new full-length project, full-length album from Conway, the Machine, Griselda's own, and Buffalo's own. And I definitely was definitely looking forward to this as a real follow-up to God Don't Make Mistakes. Of course, we kind of got those couple albums in the interim, one of which was with Jay Ski that it was kind of cool, a little mixtape bag that I liked. But Conway is really known for dropping those haymaker albums. And as you know, last album, God Don't Make Mistakes, I had his album of the year. And so I was definitely anticipating what he would do next. And so now we have Won't He Do It? And I overall was really impressed with this project for a number of reasons. And let's get straight into it. But first, before I get into that, I please would ask all of you all to subscribe. I want to get to 200 subscribers before the end of the year. And with y'all's help, I think I can do that. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, I wanted to say that now that I'm becoming a bigger fan of Conway, I'm able to sort of see what his vision is a little bit better from project to project in a way that I didn't quite understand, when I was first getting into him. And I also sort of see what each album means in the context of his discography. And so, yeah, let's get straight into it. For the writing, I'm going to have to give this an amazing. I really feel like Conway is just the best rapper in New York right now. Like, no one is messing with him. And this was one of those projects where he was able to give us the whole nine when it came to vulnerable stories, dense rhyme schemes, or insanely complex bars. Me and my homie was in my room just for like hours just dissecting his bars. One of them that I had to write down just because of just how dense it was. Let me see if I have it here. Here we go. Bro stepping and he not a capper. I push that black and yellow Maybach. I think I'm a cabber. There's not a rapper that I fear, y'all not a factor. Obviously he's not, he's stepping, but he's not a kappa. Black and yellow Maybach. Black and yellow is the color of alphas, which is a different fraternity, and their colors are black and yellow. Obviously, a cab in New York is black and yellow. I think I'm a cabber. And this is what blew me. There's not a rapper that I fear. Y'all is not a factor. If you look up the logo for Fear Factor, the color is black and yellow. That was absolutely crazy. Another one that I wanted to highlight was just some crazy rhyme schemes. And this was the opening bar of his opening song. The dope ordered the dope I ordered overcome the border, goat recorder, word cash soul water, flow slaughter, clip the pole, tall as your oldest daughter. Like, you see how he has the ability to both give us very complex rhymes and sort of schemes with the way he uses syllables on top of just dense punchlines and meaningful metaphors and similes and wordplay in that way. Super, super, super strong. I really enjoyed the versatility that he showed across this album. One of the reasons I do kind of knock it is partially because I feel like the sequencing could have been better. It kind of, and I'll get into this more in the production section, felt more like an amalgamation of a lot of different mixtapes more than it did feel like a full album experience in the same way that God Don't Make Mistakes did. Also, I feel like subject matter wise, it did get a little bit repetitive to the point where narratively, I definitely feel like there were songs like Brooklyn Chop House and that weren't like super necessary. Again, this is just speaking like narratively and subject matter wise. Overall, I just feel like a lot of the same ground was being covered from song to song, and it didn't really feel like each song had its own individual placement on this album. But still, with those flaws being there, I still feel like this is some of the best written work that Conway has ever done. Um, and he is continually cementing himself so far ahead of every other artist in New York and artist in the rap game at the current moment with his incredible pen. Flows, and this is where I was the most impressed with Conway because I think in the past, while he does have this great delivery with the slur that he has and the story behind him getting shot and all that kind of stuff that adds to it, I think flow wise, he kind of has kept to this meditative flow, and it can get kind of boring throughout an entire listen. I definitely felt that way through listening to God Don't Make Mistakes. And when he's tried trendy flows like on Super Bowl, I haven't really been the biggest fan of it because it sounds like he's forcing something. And so overall, I kind of feel like his flows in past were like not really a strong point of his projects, but in this one he mixed it up really well, and I really enjoyed that. Songs like "Flesh on My Flesh," especially where you see him get into these quicker flows, but still keeps that meditative nature, and doesn't feel the need to really dig into like a trendy bag instrumentally. But he'll still give you these like quicker flows that are more dynamic. I overall really enjoyed that. There were songs where he turned the rasp on. There were songs where his voice wasn't as rappy, and you could sort of get a more sincere delivery from him on songs like "Water to Wine," which while I wasn't a huge fan of the overall song, Conway's contribution was absolutely incredible. And so yeah, overall, his flows were amazing and definitely a huge highlight in comparison to other projects. You know, and what I will say is that like if we compare this to maybe Fabio Foreign, did he have a pocket on here that was like as entertaining as Favi was on the Bible? No, but I think that he had so many different pockets that he was able to dig into that it makes up for not hitting the highest high, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, overall, I really enjoyed his flows on this project and thought and I think he brought a lot of different dynamic performances to this album. Production, I know this sounds like dick suck because I gave him the same rating last time, but I'm gonna give him another perfect in this rating, bro. I'm sorry. And honestly, this might have been even better than God Don't Make Mistakes from a production standpoint. This is where I can really get to talking about. This really feels like a amalgamation, like I said earlier, of all of his different beats coming together, or all of his different other works kind of coming together. For example, I remember a rock inspired project that he had called No One Mourns the Wicked that I really enjoyed from him. And on songs such as Flesh on My Flesh and Stabbed Out, he really digged into that bag instrumentally. There were certain songs like Quartz that almost kind of reminded me of some Dr. Dre beats with the way that there's just these very sharp, punchy sounds. I just get done finished listening to Get Rich or Die Trying, and so Dr. Dre's production is very much in my head at the current moment. But on songs like I believe it was Quartz or Quartets, the first track, there was some beautiful jazz rap. Oh my goodness. Chosen, Monogram. What was that song? Brun Fix, I think it was called. Oh my goodness, the jazz instrumentals, the saxophones on here, and just that jazz instrumentation in general was absolutely gorgeous. And of course, you had some classic, Alchemist sounding, lo-fi meditative beats that were absolutely incredible. And while I wasn't a big fan of Super Bowl as a song, I still really messed with the beat on that album. I still really messed with the beat and felt like it was an interesting and diverse pick. Again, I just wish that Conway would maybe find a better way to tackle those. Although I don't know. Also, I think the features more hindered that song more than more than Conway himself. Speaking of which, let's get to the features. And I think this was the biggest downgrade from God Don't Make Mistakes. And this I would honestly give probably just a good, honestly. I know I may seem kind of harsh given, the perfect rating that I gave his prior albums, but a lot of the features were kind of just middle of the road, and there was actually no. Let me flip that. There was a lot of kind of features that was all over the place, really. Jay Skis and West Side Gun and the gospel the gospel singer that he had were absolutely incredible. Oh, that was another thing that he brought. My bad, production wise, was this gospel element because it's called "Won't He Do It." A lot of the songs are gospel inspired names, but songs like Kanye and others, I thought he brought beautiful gospel instrumentation and was able to flow on those kinds of beats really beautifully. And again, it adds so much versatility to your discography when you're able to bring all these different styles but still execute them in your own way, which I think is really strong. I think production definitely taught me like this is how you want versatility to look. Anyway, so going to the features, they were kind of all over the place. Some of them, like the gospel singer West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Fabulous, really came on and did their thing. But there were a lot of albums and songs. There were a lot of songs on here that kind of got ruined by the features. I've never been the biggest fan of Dave East. I know I'm from Harlem. I'm probably like supposed to like him or something like that. But like I've never been quite the biggest fan of Dave East. And on Kill Judas, he just was really bad and pretty much entirely ruined the song for me with the chorus. That I wish he would have just let Jazzy handle the chorus. I don't know why they did that together on top of the scratched out delivery that he had, similar sounding like kind of like Jim Jones on his project this year. And for a song about love, it just really didn't hit. And it sucks because Conway's verse was incredible and really got me thinking in a deep way. And was very, very relatable. That song kind of turned into a mess. And I could say the same thing about Super Bowl. I don't know what Sauce Walka or Juicy J, especially like going back and listening to it, was not the biggest fan of any of that stuff. Still, there was I think there was more solid performances than there were bad performances. And so overall, I'm going to give it a good. And man, Jay Skis did not disappoint. He showed up on this album. Yeah. The West Side Gun performance, I should say, it was good, but I think it was surprisingly disappointing for what we know West Side Gun to do on Griselda projects. If you listen to, I think it's like Guerio, I think it's called, on Tana Talk 4 and John Woo Flick on God Don't Make Mistakes. Those were like some highlight amazing verses from West Side Gun. And while this one was really strong and fit the subject matter, I feel like it was a bit underwhelming compared to the high highs that he had hit. So overall, I think the features were solid and cool, but overall somewhat underwhelming. Musical execution, and again, you kind of probably see where this is going, but I'm going to give this an amazing, honestly, especially in comparison to God Don't Make Mistakes. I feel like there's so many more songs that I'm taking from this album, so many more different pockets, so many more different situations that I can bump this in. If I'm feeling down or whatever, I could get a gospel song. If I'm feeling like I'm edgy today, we on our freaking mean arc, I could get on Flesh of My Flesh or Stab Out. There were so many different modes that this album had, and provided a versatility that made the musical execution really strong. On top of that, the flows allowed me to really sort of listen to this album passively in a way that I really have never been able to do with Conway projects, and I really, really enjoyed that sort of thing, and I was happy to see that. And so definitely would give the musical execution an amazing. And overall, there was like I said, it was a couple misses here musically. I keep on talking about Water to Wine and Super Bowl just because I feel like I really, but even on Water to Wine, Jazzy's performance was great, if not like a bit, tone deaf lyrically, because it felt like, Conway is such a, I mean, say what you will about his persona, like, in the street shit, but uh, when it comes to his love songs, Conway is a sweetheart. And so tonally it was a bit weird to hear Jazzy and Davies kind of talk about what they were talking about. But, sonically, Jazzy and Conway hit, and I really enjoyed that. And overall, this album was really, really strong. I feel like from front to back, I was really enjoying it. And like right when you think that even the overall listening experience, right when you think that it's going to get a bit boring or whatever, they switch it up and come with a completely new sound. I remember I was talking to, my friend and I were listening to the project, and he was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh man," like I think we were like 3, 4 songs in at that point, and I was like, "Man, you gotta switch it up lyrically." And then "Stab It Out" came, and I was like, "Okay, well, you gotta switch it up sonically." And then says, "Flesh on My Flesh" came, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I think this album provided a lot in the musical execution side, and I think that there's a surprising amount of replay value that I got from this project in comparison to other Griselda projects. And so yeah, overall, I'm gonna give this album an amazing. I think that it was a really great, really great project, and I am super proud of Conway for his consistency. And the thumbnail, I wanted to talk about that for a little bit at the very end. Is like I was talking to my friend about this, but like he was like, "Man, why does Conway work so much?" And I think, or why does Conway drop so much projects? He's like the young boy of lyrical rap, which I 100% like I agree with, except for the fact that, no offense to young boy, but he actually is still dropping good music. He didn't dumb down his quality for the sake of of dropping a lot of music. He just drops perpetually, and it's all fire, right? And I was talking to my friend, and I was saying like he's building up one of the craziest discographies of all time right now, because he has more albums than so many of your favorite rappers, but all of them slap, right? And I think that with this project, he's showing his versatility. He's showing his pen game, and I just think that like he's really building a legacy for himself with these projects. Where it's like, how long are we gonna exclude him from these top 10 all-time New York discussions? Obviously, there's some demons in that top 10 all-time, list, like Busta, like LL, like Jay, like Nas. But, I feel like I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I at this point feel like Conway the Machine, if you look at his discography, his consistency, his versatility, his rapping ability, his impact, right? Putting Buffalo on the map, providing a pathway for other lyricists to come through and really kill it. If you look at all of that stuff, I think that he is closer, in my eyes, to being on a top 10 list of New York than Joey Badass is. At the current moment, I think at the current moment, Conway is a better rapper, is more versatile, and has a far better discography than Joey does. And I think the only thing that you can really give to Joey is mainstream success and impact. But I definitely would say that in a greatness discussion, if we're talking about all-time great rappers from New York, I think that Conway is closer to making that top 20, top 10 list than Joey Badass is. With that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers at the end of the year. And thank you so much for 80 subscribers. I just saw that I hit that recently, and I'm so appreciative. I love talking about Near music with you guys. Let me know what you all think of this album in the comments below. And with that being said, peace, y'all.